This podcast is brought to you by Fandom Spotlight. Check us out at fandomspotlight.com. Have fun and follow your fandom.
Anime, we have your attention please, and welcome to another episode of Dragon Ball for Life, where you come for the content but you stay for the culture. That's right, we talking Goku and Soul Food. Yes. We talking about Ichigo with our Ichi bros. We them outlaw stars giving you them outlaw bars, preaching the good word on all things nerd. As always, we are your hosts, the Fusion Dance Dons, aka the Manga Gods. I am Brogita, the Prince of All Sayings, Mr. Matthew Porter, aka Matty Ice, here with my counterpart, the Oob to my Majin Buu, my Den, day one, going from the lookout to the cookout of Mr. Troto Trav. Talk to the people, Trav.
You know me. I stay chillin', and I love thy women like Krillin. And I'm with the guy, and yet again we survived because we did not get a Kide. What's going on, y'all? And we back for the Chapter 90 review of the Dragon Ball Super manga. And to be honest, not much happened, but you know what? I'll get into one of my pros, but yeah, not a lot happened, Matt.
Not a lot at all, Trav. So we have this new format where we're just going to do like a really brief synopsis of the chapter itself. And then we will give 4 pros, 4 cons, and we'll alternate. Last week I was pro, so I'm con this week. Trav was con, he's pro this week. And I did the breakdown last week. So Trav's going to give y'all the little synopsis for this week.
Yes, indeed. So, spoiler alert, essentially, we do learn why Hedo got locked up. But leading up to that, to be honest, yeah, like I said, nothing really happened. So we started off the chapter with Goten arriving to the bus stop to go to school, and he uses his Nimbus to get to the bus stop. And the reasoning that he gives his friends is that he doesn't want them to find out that he actually lives far away from the high school. And they do question him about it, and he said, you know what, I just don't get out that often, because they said they never see him in the area. And I thought that was pretty funny.
It's fucked up how like your dad has saved the universe multiple times, and you still are bound by district codes. Like if you're not not inside the area.
You ever wonder like what he puts down for his mailing address then? Because like
probably Trunks' address.
I was gonna say yeah, because like technically, based on the distance that he lives from the high school, that he probably wouldn't be able to attend this high school based on, like you said, the district codes. But yeah, so he's on the bus, explaining that. Then what's her name? Phaler? Is that what?
Yeah,
Phaler?
I thought it was, isn't it spelled like Flyer? I kept saying like flyer,
like
but
Phaler?
I might have just I was saying like flyer, but I might have just been the girl.
Yeah, yeah,
a classmate A.
Yeah, classmate of Goten's, and they ask him, how is he so close with Trunks, given that Trunks is a year older, which is so funny. Which like not to already start on a tangent, but it's funny because I do remember growing up in high school and middle school, if you were friends with people in the grades above, you were kind of looked at different. You're like, hold on, why? like, what's the connection here? You shouldn't be running around those parts. Yeah,
you be like, oh, you cool with the upperclassmen? Like, what's up with that?
right. And it's almost as if like Goten to them is cool, but not really. So they're kind of confused as to how he'd be friends with someone who's so popular in the school. But yeah, he said, our parents are close, so we grew up together. We're basically like cousins, which is so funny. Like, yeah, so my dad initially met Trunks' dad because his dad tried to kill him. And my dad actually beat him in a fight, and then he spared his life. And then for the next 2 decades, they were at each other's neck. And eventually his dad admitted that he can't see my dad, but now you know what? They might be on an even playing field now. So
nah, you know how he skips past all that? He just be like, Trunks' mom and my dad are best friends. That's just how, how he skips past all of that.
The Spark Notes version is,
he's like, I don't even want to give y'all the full version.
Yeah,
like, Trunks' mom, my dad grew up together.
They went on a lot of adventures as friends.
Facts.
And she met him when he was a kid, so yeah. But
the easiest way.
Exactly. But it would be hilarious if he tried to give the full breakdown of like once Vegeta came in the picture. But anyways, that's not
how much time do you have?
right. So do you want to? I know we're not legally able to drink right now, but you might need to grab a drink for this one. Exactly.
Them Soju Onos.
The Soju Ono.
Soju Ono.
So he explains that. Then Phaler had asked Goten if he can do her a favor. She wants to take Trunks to the upcoming dance that's coming, and Goten, knowing that Trunks wants to ask Mai to this dance, says, I don't think I can do that. And then everyone just assumes that Trunks already has a date. Or no, the wording was Trunks has so much swag that he probably already has a date, which is so funny. Some
would say he's too cool for school.
Something like that. But yeah, so he's basically says he can't do that. They are like, why? She's upset about that. So anyways, this conversation is interrupted by beta number 7, the latest iteration of Dr. Hedo's androids, which I don't know what happened to betas 3 through 6. Yeah. So or 2, because the first one was beta.
Yeah, beta. Yeah. So
2 through 6. We don't know what happened. They just malfunction, whatever. But yeah,
didn't work out too well.
He shows up. He calls out Goten, saying he knows he's Saiyaman X2, but I guess the people on the bus didn't hear him say this, because they're like, why do these goons keep showing up when you're around Goten? And it's like, I have no idea. So naturally, he disappears, switches into Saiyaman X2, beats the bricks off of Beta 7. His friends his friends are all like, it's kind of funny how every single time Goten disappears that Saiyaman X2 appears, which, you know what, you guys are onto something. You're on the right path. So then then we get into, throughout the whole chapter, police officer Krillin is actually trying to find Hedo, because they believe that he's behind the actually no, let's backtrack. He actually is first trying to find the zombies that are working the convenience store, which then we later on learn that they think that Hedo is behind this. And so, as Krillin goes to the convenience store that these zombies are working at, Mai is there as well, and she overhears Krillin, talking to these zombies, putting them under arrest, say that they need to come in for questioning, and it's so funny with some of these interactions. Krillin's like, hey, you're Mai, right? Yo, how many times have you been at Capsule Court and not seen? And it's just, I get it.
They do
it's
shit
like
that all the time, yeah.
Right. But Krillin acting as if like he's never seen Mai was pretty funny. So
and not only that, not only does he know like the kid Mai, this is the same Mai that has plagued his life since Dragon Ball. She just got shrunk down into a kid. So you've been around this woman's presence your whole life.
He's known every iteration of Mai.
Right. It's
Mai when
one
she
thing,
was growing, Mai when
exactly.
she got wished back, Mai from the future. Like, Krillin, what's going on, my guy?
If they want to try to explain it away that he's not connecting the dots that, that's the same Mai from when he was a kid, I'll give him that. But like you said, he's been to Bulma's house so many times while Mai and Pilaf and the dog, whose name I always forget, have been there. So it's like, I
want to say Shu, but I feel that's wrong.
I think I was going to say Shu as well. So that has to be that both of us thought that was it.
Right. And so, yeah, essentially, these zombies, Krillin, takes them in for questioning. But then, we get to school and, I don't even know what the kid's name is, but he's talking about the upcoming dance and how he booked Clean God for it. And as this conversation is happening, Mai and Trunks are around, and also Hedo's latest gadget, or we should say the latest prequel to Hachimaru, is, I think it was Tentamaru.
Yeah,
so,
which looks like the same bug that Dr. Gero used to get his data for 17, 18, and 16, the little ladybug thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
he just jacked it. He's like, stealing this idea.
Once again, Mai's senses apparently are much more heightened than Trunks's, because
and Goten's.
And Goten's. She tells them to keep it down because they're being listened to, which she believes is Hedo's, and her having that inkling that it is one of Hedo's latest androids. She then makes sure that he hears that Clean God is going to be at this dance. And so knowing that Hedo declares himself as the number 1 Clean God fan, he hears this and says, hey, let's scrap the whole disc mission, because I just need to be at this dance that Clean God is going to be at.
Yep.
And the requirements, which, it's funny in 2023 that the requirements that you have to, in order to go to this dance, that you have to bring a female with you. So right. So, we could go different ways with that, but that was just interesting that was the requirement to go to the dance, that you have to bring a girl. What if Hedo didn't want to bring a girl? What if he wanted to bring Beta?
That's not his steez.
Yeah. What if Beta was his steez, even though Beta had his sister with him? So
right.
not his, a sister. So
Facts.
So Hedo hears that, and naturally, he's like, all right, I got to pull up. And the funny thing about the funniest part to me about the dance was Mai's fit. Like, why did she show up in a knight's armor? You ever see the anime Fate Stay Night?
The name sounds familiar.
She looked like the one, what's the name? What did they call them? Man, the people are gonna be like, yo, what the fuck are you talking about, Trav? But anyways.
Right. Obscure anime? Like, we don't know.
Right.
No, her for reminded me of the belly button bull off of My Hero, the one who shoots like the light out of the belly button. Like, I don't remember what his name is.
He always seems like he's like horny as hell.
He plays the background all the time, but like he has like a suit of armor, like with the cape and everything, like, and shoots stuff out his belly button. But that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. So okay, she looks like Saber, the servant Saber in Fate / Stay Night. So for anyone that's listening, that's seen that anime, hopefully you got that reference that I just took a very long time to get. So yeah, anyways, they go to the dance. Trunks and Hedo have an interaction talking about their fandom for Clean God. Trunks, talks about how, he thinks he's the number 1 fan, and then Hedo was like, I don't know, I got this limited edition t-shirt, and Trunks said, bow. Shit. Trunks said, I'm the richest son on the planet. I don't even got that. Yeah, you might have me beat. He
said you got that exclusive.
Right. So knowing that Hedo is there, and Krillin, being the diligent police officer that he is, pulls up, says, haha, gotcha, motherfucker. And, says, Hedo, you are under arrest. And Hedo's like, I ain't going down like that. He said, I ain't gonna do it. So, he causes a diversion, dips, and they follow him. And as they follow him to what was it, his hideout or his lab or whatever,
his hideaway.
So they follow him there, and then Hedo's like, all right, I'm gonna unleash my next creation, which is a dinosaur android.
Another one.
Yeah. It's like it's a dinosaur android that looks like it took a lot of PEDs. So
Hedo kind of built like DJ Khaled, funny enough. Like when you think about it.
Yo, right? He said, we the best.
Another one.
Yeah, for real. That's how these androids keep popping up.
Yeah.
And so Goten and Trunks, they roll with. They then disappear and transform or transition into their Saiyamans X1 and X2, and they realize, oh shit, this android kind of got some
work.
Yeah, it kind of got some torque to it. So they got to transform both into Super Saiyan, and I thought it was pretty cool with Goten's Super Saiyan transformation to his hairstyle.
Yeah,
I was just assuming it was gonna be, like kind of like similar to Goku's, but I'm glad that
it looked like Gohan's when he was that age.
Yeah,
like the Cell Saga Gohan.
Right.
I enjoyed it.
So I did like seeing them both as Super Saiyan fighting against this Dino android, and obviously they take it down, and Hedo is under arrest. I mean, it gets arrested, and he gets arrested for stealing the bodies from the morgue and using them as androids to work at the convenience store, and so he ends up getting locked up for 3 months. The androids, aka the dead bodies, are
back to their families.
Yeah, are free to go back to their families on probation. They were on probation, right?
something like that.
So they were able to go back to their families on the family's request, which was really funny because it's kind of like, yo, they're dead, and why don't you just want them to rest peacefully? But now they're androids living with you as like zombified beings. So
that'll never die.
Right. And so then the disc that Hedo was going after, he actually, the disc itself, yeah, the disc itself, he actually just destroyed just because he said he can just mentally mentally remember the data that was on that disc, and instead used that holder to hold his autographed clean god autograph. So a little funny tidbit to end the arc. I mean the prequel arc, I should say. And to be honest with you, Matt, please fill in some additional details. But with the arrest of Dr. Hedo, that's how the prequel arc ends, and we are going to head into
somewhat surprised
Dragon Ball superhero arc. So before we get into our new format of 4 pros and 4 cons, was there anything that I might have missed or anything you wanted to add in terms of this chapter?
Nah, you pretty much got it. Like Trav said, not a lot happened here. Not only did not a lot happen here, but it was all pretty much confined to that dance. It seemed that everything took place that same day. Was pretty much like, oh, the dance is coming up. It didn't seem like there was like days that passed. It seemed like, oh, the dance is happening. Oh shit, I need a date. Oh, let's get this done today. Right. Like it might have been like a day or two at the max. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of detail, no, it was pretty much Krillin kind of uncovered everything, which is in one of my cons, but we'll get to that. Right. But detail wise, yeah, you pretty much covered it all. This was a very self-contained chapter.
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I'm very somewhat surprised that they ended the prequel leading up to the superhero arc, but that is also on my list too, so we'll get there. You want to go first, sir, with the pro?
We'll get to that specific detail, but I will start off my pro list with it was actually it was a con last week, and my con was and it wasn't necessarily because I think this is what was happening, but I said that it had the potential to lead here, and that was Mai and Trunks becoming a thing. The reason why I say it's a pro now is because, and I think that, this might just be a gag for the rest of the series, which I'm fine with, but I think the idea of us being mad that Mai could potentially be a pedophile, I think we can, for me, I think we could put that to bed, because the way that, and chime in if you think differently, but the way that I interpreted her just saying like, oh, if you do that, what did Trunks say? If he rescues,
she was like, if you can capture Hedo, you can have like as many dates as you want.
Right. So for me, I interpreted that as just like, this is just, she's like, all right, this is a horny high schooler that's like has a crush. I'm just going to say this just so that he can just go on and handle the mission. I truthfully don't think she has any interest in him in that way. I think I think that, she understands the youth and naivety of Trunks, but I mean, like, she purposely takes him to the dance to lure Hedo in. So I think that, even though she quote unquote said we can go on as many dates as you want, I think she just said that in the moment to just entertain him. I don't think that she truthfully is going to have feelings for him, but I do think that Trunks is always going to just have feelings for her and eventually will grow out of it. But I think that at least for the time being, he's going to keep trying to win Mai over, and she's just going to be like, high schoolers. So that was my that was my first pro, which was like, it was a con that now transitioned into a pro.
Nah, I like that, because we had kind of touched on it last review. This month went by fast. Doesn't feel like that was a month ago.
For real.
But we had kind of touched on it that they often forget, well, it seems that they would forget that, she's not a kid. She was an adult that got turned into a kid, but still kept all her like facilities about her. And like the way they would kind of play it was that she was still like a kid. So I liked that they showed that, no, like she is a grown ass person. She just got stuck in a kid's body and she's just kind of having to re-age again. Right. So I did like that. So my first con, sticking on the theme of Trunks, I feel like they missed a golden opportunity with Hedo and Trunks not really, him not knowing that was Saiyaman X-Man 1 and them like bonding over Clean God. Mm-hmm. I feel like that could have been a cool storyline where like if they were like to be friends until they figured out that they're like actually enemies. Obviously Trunks knew who Hedo was. Wait, had they crossed paths actually prior to? Because he had just been dealing with like the grunt work, right? No,
they never crossed paths. Hedo knew about Trunks because he suspected him to be.
Yeah, he thought that was him, right? But then when Goten popped
Trunks of potentially, being one of the Saiyaman who stole.
Oh yeah, well then I'm double downing on a con. I feel like that would have been a funny thing to explore for like another chapter. Like if they had like bonded and became friends, and Trunks was like, "Hey, you want to come see my Clean God collection and things like that?" Right. And like them not knowing that each other was like after each other. I think that could have been like a funny little subplot that they could have ran with.
And they could have they could have played into like Toriyama's humor and just had Hedo so immersed in trying to meet Clean God that like he can't recognize that this is the man that he's been trying to go after the last two chapters.
Exactly.
So my second pro is, I think this is just another chapter where we kind of see Goten coming into his own. I do like the fact that he has his own group of friends. We get a little bit of some development with him in terms of just like him trying to. I always like him using Nimbus and I
thought that panel was so cool. Like him just like playing video games, riding Nimbus. Like I thought that was dope.
Like I do appreciate the fact that they're giving them two different lives, friend groups, and just way that they move about. Like even though Goten is a year younger, I'm glad that they kind of ditched the whole Goten, because even though they were always a year apart, Goten always acted so much younger than Trunks. He just seemed like 3 to 4 years younger, but now it seems like a lot more even keeled, a lot on the same playing field in terms of that. He actually seems a lot more sensible and calm at times than Trunks is. So I think I really like that about his character development, and I hope that continues.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was a happy accident because, I say all the time, Toriyama and Kevin Feige, they be jumping in front of things that fans put together and be like, that's what we meant the whole time. But I feel like the fact that Chi-Chi actually did train him in Goku's absence could be a part as to why Goten is so much more grounded, because Gohan was kind of trapped in limbo. He had one parent that wanted him to be one thing, another that wanted him to be the total opposite, so he kind of was just like stuck in a weird place of people pleasing. But with Goku not there, Chi-Chi did actually help train him. And then so he had Chi-Chi training him, Gohan training him, and then when Goku came back, him training him. So like you said, he is a lot more disciplined than Trunks is, because Trunks is like, obviously you got Vegeta, but Vegeta's like off and gone, and then Bulma isn't a fighter, never been a fighter, right? And she obviously wants to try to position him to like take over the company. So it makes sense where they're at, makes storyline sense with how they were brought up.
Yeah, because Trunks is now kind of the one in limbo, because as we saw, Bulla is the one who basically inherited Bulma's intelligence, brains. So I can see them just like them being just entwined, and with Vegeta just always on Beerus' planet. Trunks is kind of going to be in that weird state of limbo, I think.
So my second con is going to be my storyline. So I'll say this. So two of my cons, this being one of them, is totally based off of the projection that they're going to follow the movie. Now I imagine to like fill the chapters, they might add new details to like superhero in manga form. But if they're gonna maintain close to the source material, Mai had nothing to do with that movie at all. I don't even think she was in the film. maybe she had like a scene. So if she's gonna get like kind of like X'd out, then this whole investigative, I want to be the one to take down Hedo storyline was pointless.
Well,
so
we also have to remember too that the manga takes its own liberties to. That's
what I was saying. That I'm projecting if they, because Tournament of Power manga versus anime are literally night and day. Yeah. So projecting that they do this differently, it's a con with the asterisk next to it. So if they do take their own liberty and tell like a more developed story where Mai is more hands-on, which I would prefer, it's not a con. But if they're going to follow the movie, not to a T, but just stick similar to that outline, she had nothing to do with that film.
Yeah, they kind of just follow it, and then she just all of a sudden is just not involved.
Yeah, like, all right, her exactly, like making her such a focal point and like making her like, oh, I want to be the one to take him down, and all that stuff. Like, oh, future Trunks isn't here anymore, so you're the Trunks that I gotta just deal with you. Like all that was like, well, what was the point?
Right. I mean, what she could do to like have some sort of involvement, and how like Trunks, Krillin, and Goten all show up a little bit later. She might catch wind of what's going on, or maybe it kind of like is monitoring the movements, and then obviously sees the strengths of Gamma 1 and 2, and then when Cell Max appears, she's like, well, I obviously don't have the strength to handle any of this, but hey, Goten, Trunks, Krillin, you guys should probably help Gohan and Piccolo. So maybe there's some sort of some sort of role that she plays there. But my third pro is actually one of your cons. I actually like that the prequel arc ended here, just because I didn't like really see anything additional that they could have had in this prequel arc, because Hedo doesn't. Because at first I was thinking, dang, we don't know how he creates Gamma 1 and 2, but that doesn't happen until after he's out of jail. So they can expound upon that there. Where I think that now if this was a weekly manga, I think that they could have like had this arc a little bit longer, but since we're month by month, I personally didn't want to go into March still in like kind of this slice of life mode that they're in, and because it kind of seemed like a lot of the chapters had the same repeating tropes of Hedo will create a new android who gets worked by Saiyaman X1 and 2. We see Trunks try to shoot a shot at Mai and doesn't work, but then people think, oh, maybe Mai is entertaining him because she might be into him. Then actually she's not. Actually she is. No, she's not. And then I just think that it from a storytelling perspective, and I mean, not saying that they couldn't try to make it a little bit more creative and less repetitive, but I do think that if it were to go into
would have dragged.
yeah so I personally was happy that Hedo got arrested in this chapter, and it concluded the prequel arc.
Gotcha. So I'll just roll along right into what you were saying. So your pro is my con, but I'll provide a bit more context. So going off of chapter 89, and we had kind of touched on it then, it seemed like they were going to stay here a bit longer. So going from how 89 was written to how 90 was written, it seemed like they just tried to zoom through to get caught up to the movie part, which is why I put it as a con. Because like I said, the whole Hedo and Trunks not knowing that they were after each other, I thought that could have been like a really fun couple panels that they could have explored. Or Mai's investigation obsession could have been something like, I think her and Krillin teaming up would have been kind of dope, like kind of like if she like was helping him on the case, because we know that Krillin actually ends up finding out pretty much the whole backstory, but we don't see how he got all that intel and whatnot. So having her have helped him get that info, especially because she used to work for the Red Ribbon Army, that just would have kind of like made sense.
Yeah, if they would have used this. So if they would have used this chapter to kind of like expand upon Krillin's whole investigation,
like how he got all that information, or even just like 91 could have been that, like 90 and 90, like they could have spaced out 90 into like 2 chapters and ended. So like I said, and it's only a con because 89 seemed like they wanted to stay here a bit longer, like with Goten and Trunks being the focal point, because we know once we get into the movie. And again, like we said, this is all a prerequisite because they could completely tell a totally different story in the manga, like i.e. Tournament of Power. So if they are going to go to the movie, we do know that Goten and Trunks don't really have a lot to do after this. It's really going to kind of transition to Gohan and Piccolo. So if that is what the transition is going to be, I would have liked Goten and Trunks to have a bit more to do as my third con. So another con with the asterisk.
Well, my last pro kind of intertwines with a lot of things that you just said there, and my last pro is Krillin acting as the adult / uncle for Goten and Trunks. I like, for some reason, I just thought it was so funny and like a good touch of him, like saying like, I knew I shouldn't have told you guys about this. Like,
and I like him specifically. It was Goten, don't tell your mom. It wasn't like you two don't tell your moms. It was Goten, don't tell your mom.
I love the fact that to this day everyone still is afraid of Chi-Chi. Like everybody can, if obviously you would never hit a woman, but any of them, you know, like Chi-Chi,
they could all take her out with a flick of a finger if they wanted to.
They can't touch her. But the fact that he's just and it's just cool just because, you know, you forget that he is like their uncle basically, and you know, it's on him to ensure that, you know, they don't get into any trouble and everything. Where I feel like low key, if Goku and Vegeta were to hear of this, they might think otherwise of saying like, hey, they need some battle experience. Let them get their feet wet. But I do appreciate Krillin's loyalty and also just him acting as the adult in the situation. So maybe once Krillin learns about Gamma 1 and 2 and hears like Piccolo struggling, Gohan struggling, maybe he's like, hey, Goten and Trunks, let's see if your older brother and Piccolo can figure this out before you guys do something stupid. So I did like how Krillin was. Well, it was just a good like adult, and because we forget Goten and Trunks are still young as hell. So
what are they? 14 and 13,
something like that. So Krillin,
like 9th and 10th grade. Yeah, so
Krillin throughout this series, I feel like has always exhibited traits of like people in the real world, of kind of reminding like the viewers and the readers of
he's the voice of the people.
exactly. He's the real one of the group. So I did like that interaction and the whole dynamic there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Trav, the reason why we're so good at what we do is even when we're tasked to take on differentiating opinions for the sake of content, we're still vibing because my fourth con is the fact that Krillin figured out everything. So,
is it that he figured out everything, or it just like appeared that he figured out everything and we don't know how he figured out everything?
So both those two things. It's A, he appeared to figure out everything and we don't know the how, and B, again, another asterisk, if I'm going based off of how the movie is, none of Krillin's pre-knowledge came into any type of helpful use in the movie. If Krillin had all this information leading into the movie, they probably would have had like a major leg up in like stopping Cell Max from being activated.
I mean, I feel like it just reiterates our whole thought process of Toriyama and Toyotarou with just creating
shit
things
as they go,
like arc by arc. Yeah.
So I'm refraining from judgment that I do feel that they're probably gonna like shuffle the story probably a lot, because like I don't see how you tell this prequel, these 3-4 prequel chapters, and then keep the movie the same, because it's like you have Mai, who's very involved with trying to track down Hedo, who's like made it her mission to like put him behind bars, and then you have Krillin, who has figured out this evil scheme before it has happened, but he doesn't tell anyone about it if it leads into how it plays out in the movie. Krillin literally doesn't have shit to do in the movie at all. He shows up at the end and isn't really helpful. So again, another asterisk, because hopefully they do shuffle the story, but Krillin knowing everything and not having shared this information with anybody pre the activation of Cell Max is a major plot error if they choose to keep the story the same.
Right. And I don't think they'll keep the story the same, and two,
I don't think they will.
And to keep and also two, one interesting comment, and I'm wondering if Toyotaro is going to do this in the anime. I mean, in the manga, but in an interview, Toriyama has said that his original design for Gohan Beast had blue skin, like light blue skin.
Ooh,
so I wonder if for the manga, Toyotaro is going to do that. And
I wonder what the significance of blue skin is.
I'm not sure. There's we gotta get Jordan on the pod for a color theory, but I think there's a lot of
shout outs to conspiracy theorists heirs.
Yeah, there's a lot of meaning behind the different colors, so I'm not sure if there is like some, like, I would feel like light blue is so calming, so maybe it's an element of like Gohan's a calm person, so maybe it's like, even though he's like a quote unquote beast, he still has that calm demeanor. Gohan, I don't know. I'm just making shit up off the top of my head.
It might sound good.
I mean, someone could hear this and be like, "No, light blue actually means you're a deranged lunatic." So I don't know. But
I'm sure we'll find out. I guess I'd have to see it in real time, but I'm not mad with the choice not to go that way.
Right, right.
I'm fine with them keeping his skin color the way it is.
That'd be kind of weird, but I mean, at this point, Toriyama's new idea of transformations is different colors and bigger hair. So.
Absolutely. Well, Trav, moving on to everybody's new favorite segment, it's time for some final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I mean, I think I haven't said anything that I want to elaborate on or continue on, but I do hope that with the story leading into this, that one, I do want them to not just have a quick panel for this, but I want them to have, hey, you can even have a whole chapter or half of a chapter dedicated, but I want them to give us like just a nice set of panels of Goku and Vegeta and Beerus and Whis going to Broly's planet to recruit him and why they're recruiting him, and then also some initial training, because they were, I mean, obviously you can say they saw it firsthand when they first fought Broly, but in the movie they're like, well, you still can't control your power yet, so you have to watch Goku and Vegeta spar. Like, I want them to have, like, it'd be cool if when they get to Beerus's planet, Goku would be like, so I want to see if you've been keeping up with your training or anything. So Broly, let's see your power, and then he goes berserk, and they're like, oh shit, all right, here we go again.
And it might be low hanging fruit, but I would also really like to seeing how as Kale and Khalifa are in Champa's universe, who is Beerus's brother, and I always forget Khalifa's the Broly, the berserker for her universe, right? Or is it Kale?
No, it's Kale.
Kale. So having think of green, Kale, green. There you go. I like it. So knowing that Kale has figured out how to master the berserker mode, I think that'd be a cool bridge, because Vegeta's been talking about going to see Kappa anyway, or like having like them reuniting again as like a master student. So having a conversation, like bringing Kale in maybe to help train Broly, because she figured out how to keep her faculties when she goes in berserk mode, I think would be cool. Having her help out. They
need to, I mean, the whole, I don't know why Toriyama is holding on this, and because I know he loves to troll, but he really needs to have a Planet Sadala arc.
1000%.
Like it just, and I'm not talking like a one-off story. I'm talking like there's a threat on Planet Sadala. Kaba doesn't have the strength to take him down, so he needs to recruit. Obviously, Hit is like, if it's no money involved, I'm not doing it. So he's not gonna partake in it, because he's an assassin. He's a mercenary. He's just a worker for hire. Like Hit isn't out here for the love of the battle. He's about for that coin
at all.
When he's fighting, he gets that exhilaration of wanting to get better. But in terms of like, so I think that would be a cool future arc. Which I mean, it's such easy money, Toriyama. Like that would just break the internet of just having that interact. There's just so many ways they can go with it,
and it's so easy because, like I said, they could go the Kale route and having her come in and train Broly, and maybe when she goes back to Universe 6, like it's in shambles and she's like, oh, what the fuck happened? And they're like, oh, big bad evil person came, we can't defeat him. And then she like tells them, or if Kaba like uses the Dragon Balls, like makes a wish to communicate with Universe 7. It's just like, hey, we need your help, me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
And we need to find out who the King of Sadala is and why he wasn't. You would think he'd be the one that was recruited for the Tournament of Power. So like I would be really curious to know how strong he is, if he was still the strongest after Kaba had achieved Super Saiyan. Mm-hmm. And then if he didn't have Super Saiyan, and if he now has it. So there's a lot of questions that could be answered.
Because what was Khalifa? She was just kind of like the leader of like the rebellion Saiyans in the universe. Like, because I know she was higher up in her where she was at, like her little warehouse that she hung out in. She was
she was one of the strongest Saiyans, but like she was not in their like military force or anything. She was just like the head of a group of bandits, but she had this like she had the potential, one of the highest potentials, and also was just strong beyond belief in comparison to the other Saiyans, but wasn't about that military life. So
got it. Well, another great chapter.
Yes.
I won't say great. It was good. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, another great review.
There you go. We make these things great. Like me and Trav always say, like these are just kind of brief synopsis and our thoughts. So we do always encourage you guys to please go read the chapters. It would appear as if we are done with this kind of prequel chapter leading up into what will be the manga retelling of the superhero arc. So I'm pretty excited about that because with the threat of Black Frieza looming in the background, and even possibly this bigger bad that Frieza might need help with, which is why they left Goku alive after the fight with Granola and everybody. We'll see how that plays into it, or where, like, if that all tries to get crammed into one thing, because I don't see them. We talked about this before. I don't see how they tell the superhero arc and then wait another year to circle back to why Frieza allowed them to live, because why do I keep saying she? Because Frieza needs their help, whatever it is that Frieza needs their help with. I'm gonna say she again, but something that we can actually talk about with you guys now before we close this bad boy out: Cospalooza. It has been announced.
Talk about it.
It is official. It is official as a whistle. Me and Trav and the DB4L family have teamed up with Riot Nerd, which is an entertainment group here in the great city of Philadelphia, and we're throwing a cosplay party. So if you are in and around the area of Philly, or if you want to travel just because you love us so much, we would love to have you. It's going to be April 22nd from 10 until at Milk Boy Philadelphia, which is located on South Street. We will have the link for ticket sales. That will also have the address in our almighty Linktree link. But yeah, April 22nd, 10 p.m. Come as your favorite anime, manga, movie, comic, Marvel, TV characters. Come drink with your boys. Take a little shot with us. We're going to have fun. It's going to be hosted by myself and Trav. We got some surprises for you guys. Going to be DJ Reason coming out of retirement. Shout outs to Taco. Spinning on the ones and twos. But we are super excited. That was one of the major announcements that we've been teasing
get your ticks.
So get your tickets now, because we got word back that they are moving fast. When the tickets went on sale, they started moving really quick. So they will sell out very soon. So again, that is the first annual Cospalooza. We are planning on kind of making this a recurring thing in the city. We are super excited. Can't wait to see you guys. Come join us. But like we always say here, we call you guys the lifers because you literally put the life into Dragon Ball for life. So the easiest way to support the podcast and stay up to date with all your DB4L wants and needs is to follow our almighty Linktree link that will be in the description of this video, and that will lead you everywhere. Every platform that you can listen to the podcast, our Instagram, our Twitters, all things DB4L will be found in the Linktree link that will be in this description of the video. But to close this bad boy out, my good brother Trav, whether you watch it or you read it, we all need it. So follow your fandom right back here, and we will see you next time on Dragon Ball Faux Life. Dodon Ray. Bow. Shout outs to super producer Mikey.
We love you, Mikey. And shout out to Yali.
Yeah,
with
bitch.
extra exclamation points.
All the exclamation points.
You dig?
Fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. Yeah.
Mortals, listen up. It's your god of destruction, Beerus here. Subscribe and follow the Dragon Ball for Life podcast, or else you shall be erased from existence. Hakai.